living the dream. I'm like, fuck you.
You don't like that, huh?
No, it's like it's what's it called? It's like post bragging or something like that, or it's like passive aggressive bragging. Fuck.
Well, that's Kevin, and this is Bad Takeout.
Oh.
I hope you really enjoyed Kevin off the cuff. I just decided to hit record, and Kevin was going on a rant.
I deleted him. Fuck him. I worked on a show with him like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm sick of the bragging. Like, with, look at my car, and I'm back home with my family, and we all love each other, and everything's fucking wonderful.
So you took him off your Facebook.
I did, yeah. I don't have patience for that shit.
No intro today. That was just right there, Kevin going into a pre-rant.
I'm tired.
Well, welcome to Bad Takeout, everybody. Kevin Crowley just got off a plane and came straight to the recording studio to do an episode of Bad Takeout.
Yeah, I did. I appreciate the ride. You picked me up.
Oh, no problem, no problem. How was your trip?
It was good. It was quick.
Off to New York City.
Yeah, I was in the city on Monday. It was hot as balls. Like, it was like 91 degrees and like 100% humidity. Like, all of the aromas of New York City, like, it's mostly piss. And then when you go to Central Park, I was like a couple blocks away, so I walked up to Central Park and had
like
lunch.
Piss and vomit.
No, it's horse shit. So you get horse shit and homeless piss. So it's a nice concoction.
Does homeless piss smell different than regular piss?
But it's like 80 years of homeless piss. So it's like fermented. It's like a fine cognac or Armagnac.
What's an Armagnac?
Armagnac is like a really well done cognac. It's like, fucking $80 a glass.
And that's what the urine in Central Park is?
No. It's urine all around. Like, you get off the train at Grand Central and you walk. And it's when it's hot, too. The subways, man, oof. I don't know, living out in L.A., man, it's turned me into a bit of a
Nancy?
A little bit.
You're not ready for the harsh realities of the real world of New York?
No. I'm Liberace.
It's always on. I noticed that Beyond the Candelabra is on HBO. Yeah. Right now, if we turn it on, it's on. And I always catch it right when Matt Damon is just like railing
really?
Liberace. Or the scene where he gets out of the pool and Liberace's like, oh, my little boy is back. And then like Matt Damon like straddles him over the lawn chair.
Well, he's doing like a big press tour. He was on Howard, right?
Scott Thorson? Yeah, he went on Scott Thorson.
And just like crazy stories, which are probably mostly bullshit. He was on Opie and Anthony, and I'm an Opie and Anthony listener. Jeremy, you're a Who listener.
And that's why we've turned into Bad Takeout.
Well, yeah, but it's hard when you listen to 5 shows a week, and the last thing you want to do is like bite off anything that they're doing, because out of respect.
Right, no, we're not here to steal from Howard Stern or the shitty Opie and Anthony.
Or the O&A show.
No, we're not here to bite things.
No, but he was on there, and he was talking about he had an affair with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And
it's all in his book, right?
And the whole Wonderland murder shit with like John Holmes.
He was around for that.
Yeah, he was like selling like $50,000 of coke, $50,000 worth of coke like a week or something for I forget what the guy's name was.
Nash.
Eddie Nash. Yeah.
Eddie Nash.
Yeah, that whole thing was crazy. That's part of why I love L.A. It's all those like glossy, terrible things. The Tate LaBianca murders and Wonderland.
And didn't Christopher Walken throw someone off a boat?
No, Natalie Wood drowned, and I think he was dating her at the time. Who knows? It's the 70s. Or actually, that was like 1980 somewhat. But she was a piece of ass.
Speaking of Sharon Tate or whatever her name is, Tony Soprano.
Oh, I know, man.
James Gandolfini.
I was back. That was the day I got in, and I got like 2 or 3 texts from like 2 or 3 different friends saying like James Gandolfini died.
Is that your phone?
You bet
What is that?
I'm sorry. I was just happening to be listening to
little Sopranos music.
I watched like the 5 or 6 episodes in a row on HBO Go because look, Gandolfini, that was when I heard that, I was bummed. Like, I was legitimately bummed out like I knew the guy.
Dude, I am so disappointed that we lost James Gandolfini.
Yeah. Sucks.
It's very sad.
I was out to dinner, and I got a text, and it was like, Tony Soprano died. And I'm like, no, well, yeah, I think he did too. Like, I thought it was like a conversation with the finale. But they're like, no, James Gandolfini died. And I'm like, what? And it was very disappointing. so good, man.
He's Tony Soprano.
We've had the discussion about, what's the best television show of all time.
The Sopranos is the best television show of all time.
And I argued the Wire's, case for it, but I hadn't seen The Sopranos in probably about a year. I'll flip it on if it's on HBO or something, I'll watch it. But that show is fucking great, especially the last 4 or 5 seasons. Season 5 and season 6.
Season 1, 2, and 3 are unbelievable.
But it's a different show.
Different show. But then 4, 5, and 6 became a whole different style. Yeah. It's the best show that's ever been made.
And when you got a guy like Gandolfini, who was such a talented actor, and when he died, it's like almost like Kurt Cobain. It's like you don't realize how genius they
until
were
you see all his work, and
and he wasn't just Tony. He was great in True Romance, Get Shorty, the Mexican, Zero Dark 30. He was in
The Man Who Wasn't There.
Coen Brothers, absolutely.
He even did. He was in The Last Castle.
Last Castle.
He played that. He played that. The weird voice. I was gonna say he played a weird voice.
And that was when he was Tony. Everybody knew him as Tony Soprano.
He was so good. He's so good.
But it sucks, man. He was out on.
But they say the last few hours he was alive, he was like guzzling wine and beer and margaritas, and he was eating all kinds of fried food, and he was just stuffing himself left and right.
Yeah, I mean, he was either going to take like a massive shit or have a heart attack.
And he had the heart attack.
But it's very I mean, I haven't been, and it's weird when celebrities die because you don't know them, but you know their work and. Let me see. Whitney Houston, I don't really give a shit. I'm like, you play with fire, you get burned, basically. You smoke crack.
Dude, Whitney Houston died to me in the 80s, you know what I mean? Like, she was great.
You're going to drown in a bathtub.
But when you spend the last decade being on weed and cocaine and beating up at Bobby... What's his name? Bobby Brown. Ain't nobody humping around.
That is a good tune.
My sister always had that jam going when I was a young kid.
Ew.
What am I going to do? That's what she was listening to. What am I going to do?
We had like Weird Al Yankovic pumping in our house.
What an asshole family. Weird Al Yankovic?
We stank on ice.
Who has Weird Al Yankovic blasting in their house?
I don't know, herbs like me. Fucking grown up herbs. I was.
She's fat. I'm fat. You know it.
And smells like Nirvana and all that. That was a good time to be a Weird Al fan. But but I started watching from like season 6. And I'm up to like Johnny Cakes episode, which is like episode 7 or 8. And all the storylines that kind of pissed me off, like when they were airing like weekly, now I appreciate them. Like when
the Johnny Cake stuff was starting to frustrate me a little bit. Like every week it was like, all right with the Johnny Cakes.
It was the same thing with, Tony getting shot by Junior, where he's like, Asabarenga.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, no, he's like,
do you believe that Junior... Do you believe it's like the Sopranos episode podcast right now? Do you believe that Junior meant to shoot Tony?
No.
It was just him old and senile, right?
I thought it was Pussy Morenga.
And that's
Morenga, whatever.
That was the
Little Pussy.
Little Pussy before Big Pussy, well before we ever saw the show.
And it was like again, I guess. But yeah, he's got his teeth out. He's like just pops them, and then and fucking Tony's just on the floor. He grabs the phone.
And it rips right off the wall.
But, I watched... I was all Gandolfini for, like, Wednesday. As soon as I got back from dinner, I'm like, dude, this sucks. So I'm reading TMZ, and I hate TMZ because they're such cunts. But, like, CNN and YouTube and stuff, and I watched his entire Inside the Actor Studio.
Yeah, I watched it, too.
And, he was like, when I was pissed, I'd drink, like, 6 cups of coffee. If I had to get angry for a scene... I would walk around with a pebble in my shoe just so I can get that much angry. And he's like, you walk around with a pebble in your shoe for like 6 hours, you're going to be pissed. And like, and doing late night scenes, like all the Melfi stuff, it would be like Friday morning or Saturday morning, 3 o'clock, on a Saturday morning. Because the way I guess they work 10 hours. So I think what they were saying was Monday they started at 6 to about 8. Tuesday, because they needed the 10-hour, grace period for crew. So by Friday, they wouldn't start shooting until, noon or so, or 1, 2 in the afternoon to give grace for, the crew.
I heard he was a real emotional, nice guy, but also he was really crazy. Like, he wouldn't show up to set for days, and then he'd come to set, and he'd feel so bad, he'd buy everybody, like, he'd come with massive gifts for the entire crew because he felt bad.
51.
But he was a real,
Sad.
You can't live in excess. I mean, clearly he lived in excess with drinking and, maybe drugs, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But, like, clearly drinking and eating, and you just,
So what did you think about the finale? What do you think happens to Tony?
Nothing. I think the show ends the same way the show began. The first episode, it starts off, Tony's on the couch. Tony's got problems. Uncle Junior's fucking with him. He's got problems with this shit. He's got other guys that might be thing. The show ended the same exact way. He's sitting there at the table. One guy might flip. One guy might do this. His crew's in the middle of a war that's about to end. It ends the same way it started. Tony and his family.
So you don't think he's killed?
No.
I got to disagree with you. I really do think, and I even read an article, so I don't want to like completely be like, oh no, that was all true, but it brings up so many ridiculous points in that diner scene, the last scene of the show, and like that last season, all like there's so, and even David Chase, the creator, was like, everything is right there. Like I'm never gonna tell you if he was shot, if he just lived in paranoia the rest of his life, and you have to guess what happens to him. I think he gets murked by the guy in the members only jacket.
Why do you think that?
Because remember when he's on the boat with Bacala?
And he's got the one line where he says, "You'll never know it's coming."
A guy like me is either going to end up in jail or in prison. And Bacala's like, I forget if it was Tony or Bacala, but he was like, "What? So what do you think it is?" He said, "You never see it coming." And
it just goes.
It just goes to black, and it was making a lot of really like fucking pretty smart arguments for the fact that Tony gets killed in the end, like. The door of the diner, and that whole scene is in his point of view. He's reading, looking at the jukebox.
I guess you're right. Everything in the scene is his point of view.
Yep. And then there's only small, like...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to die tonight. I don't know what it is. I got a little frog in my throat.
But, yeah, the door rings, and...
he looks up. It's Carmela.
He looks up. I mean, like, and he looks down at the menu. They're not going to show the menu, but they do show the jukebox and all of that. That whole shot is his angle.
Once Carmela walks in, it's pretty much his point of view.
Yeah. And then, and then he looks up and Carmela comes in and when AJ comes in, it's all a direct line to the door, but the members only jacket guy walks in with AJ in front of him. So it's like, he followed AJ. He's looking up. He's suspicious.
But here's the thing about that.
And the last thing is that he walks directly to the bathroom and out, and it's a direct line. If you look at the framing of the shot, it's a complete direct line right between Tony and that door, and then it just fades to black for 10 seconds. Meadow,
David Chase even said he wanted to be 60 seconds of dead air, but HBO said no.
Right.
Here's the only thing I would argue is that the mafia has like rules, and the rules would be
you don't kill in front of your family.
You don't kill in front of your family.
I don't think it mattered at that point. I mean, he just killed Phil in front of his family, in front of his two grandkids, and then his head gets run over at like a Circle K.
That little weird guy is so cute when Phil.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and the kid pukes.
Yeah.
Show is so good, man.
So good.
But like I remember watching it like season 6, and it was like a 2-year break in between it. So when it started, you're like, oh, this is fucking great. Tony's fat. They're eating at the sushi joint. Everything is hot on the lamb. Johnny Sack is in prison. Phil's running that now, but only acting boss. He buys Carm a fucking Porsche. Like, everything is good. Fucking Bobby's in the garage with his little stupid conductor hat. He's like, why the fuck aren't... And Tony's like, are you kidding me? Why aren't you taking care of Junior? He's like, we got things to do, T. So he goes over... Fucking's making spaghetti for...
yeah.
He loses his teeth. Fuck, I'm sure there's some symbolism with that, Junior not having his teeth.
I was telling somebody today, every time you saw eggs on The Sopranos, like the next scene, someone got killed.
Well, it's like the oranges in Godfather.
Yeah.
Every time there's oranges, like fucking Vito gets killed. I think Apollonia blows up, right? And then like the most direct one is that big massacre at the meeting in Godfather 3. I mean, there's an orange literally rolls across the table.
Well, that by then...
Yeah, they were just like, we apologize.
Yeah, but The Sopranos, it will go down as one of my favorite shows.
And yeah, so rest in peace,
James Gandolfini.
I wish I had a chance to tell him how big of a fan I was.
He had just moved to Studio City. I read an article. He just moved to our area where I live. We live in Studio City. He just moved to this area just recently. Mm-hmm. But rest in peace.
Yeah, so that was a bummer.
And Richard Matheson died. He was a writer. He had wrote like a bunch of episodes of The Twilight Zone.
How old was he?
He was like 90-something.
Yeah. I mean, look, I say fucking salute to that.
Yeah.
87. Good for you. Yeah, but that happened when I was back. I was there for like a graduation and seeing some friends and family. So I went to high school graduation.
You went to a high school.
I did.
A lot of hot broads.
Yeah, actually.
Nice.
Scarsdale, New York.
Nice.
And did you ever hear it was funny because my cousin graduated in the same class as this girl whose family was in the paper recently. And so they're out on a bar mitzvah in the city. And I guess they're riding like a party bus back. And the chaperone is like the brother-in-law or something. And I think one of the kids throws like a peanut M&M. It hits the bus driver in the head. And
the kid throws a peanut M&M.
Yeah. Did you hear the audio at all?
No.
Okay. Fucking this chaperone goes ape shit.
And he's like the brother or someone?
And he was the brother-in-law or uncle of one of these kids who graduated in my cousin's class.
And this was on like the news in your town?
Yes, and it made national news. I heard about it out here somehow. I forget how, but here's just a clip.
Do it again, you fuck, and you're fucked. This driver will kill you. He will kill you. One more time, you will die. You will bleed out of your fucking nose.
13, 14 years old, you about
That's
that?
right, I'm spitting in your fucking eye.
Right, 13 years old.
Ever do that again, you will die. Got it? Death! Fuck! Spoiled fuck!
Yeah. So
this is all over an M&M?
yeah. I
On
don't
a bar
know.
mitzvah party bus?
Yes, with fucking and of course every kid has a cell phone, so they're like, I'm getting this asshole on tape, putting it on YouTube, and I'm gonna blow up his spot.
So now
You can't fuck with kids now.
And
these
they were
days.
all at this, and they were in the brother or sister
Yeah.
was in the graduating class.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Small world. I
Small
guess.
world, yeah. Was the brother-in-law there?
I don't know. They're fuck.
You could have thrown it. You could have thrown M&Ms at him.
I could have, yeah. Just you think everybody who knows like leaves them like M&Ms
Just right at his chair.
at his desk. Yeah, but it's I was class of 2000, so that's 13 years ago.
Class of 1999.
A party like it is as if. But like it was cool. The kids are all full of piss and vinegar. But like the girl who gave like one of the speeches, like the salutatorian, whatever they are, they're like, I've learned so much in my 4 years at this school, and you're my family now, and I feel like I can conquer the world. And it's just like, come on, give me a fucking break. Like go to college, survive your first semester of college, and then you can fucking talk.
You survived high school, honey.
Exactly. Your parents bought you a fucking car, but like can kids start spouting like wisdom? I'm like, look, like you got your fucking learner's permit. Like
as you're sitting there with your cigarette in your mouth and your
I
Heineken,
used to be all fucking wide-eyed, bushy-tailed.
piss and vinegar.
Look at me now.
Look at you now.
But yeah, she's like trying to.
An asshole wearing a Tony Clifton t-shirt.
I am. With my Tony Clifton. It has pit stains in it.
It's disgusting.
Like rotted pit stains.
I don't care about your pit stains, Kevin.
I know. Look, I wore it on set.
And you got to see your mommy?
Oh man, I did see my mom.
And you got to see your brother?
I did.
How's your brother's house doing? He was your brother was affected
by Sandy.
By Sandy, right?
Yeah, he lives in a Bell Harbor section of Queens.
And so the house get completely rebuilt?
Yeah. And 8 months later. Was it 8 months? So it was Halloween it happened. So it's the end of June. So yeah, 8-9 months. But they're still fighting the insurance company and all that stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, it's not pretty. I mean, FEMA is a joke. FEMA is only really for if you're uninsured, and then you can, but you got a couple grand from it, which hey, every bit helps. But like that's federal aid that I gave $50 to at the 12-12-12 concert. It's like spread the wealth. Like it'll get somewhere, but. Yeah, but they're in good shape. I saw their kids. They're running around like crazy. I'm not even close to liking kids. I love my nephews, but I have very short.
You're
patience.
so far from having kids.
Yeah.
First, you have to go on a date.
I do date
before you have to go.
I bet I drop my seed when I need to.
You've never. Let's hope to God you have not dropped your seed.
I know.
Let's hope to God.
Well, your lady friend's out of town.
So what does that mean? That you're gonna drop your seed in me?
Are you kidding me? You probably fucking been rinsing come off your knuckle hair the last 3 days.
What do you mean? I've been raping a few tube socks.
Why not?
I mean, if you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of off my schedule. I can't jerk off in my mom's house. There's something wrong about it. Had to go out in the woods. I'm just kidding.
Had to step outside at the evening.
Yeah.
Mom, I'll be back.
Where
are you going? I'm going for a walk, okay?
There's like baby pictures around. You're like, oh, this is so wrong. Fucking lavender, like, hand soap. I'm like, no, Mom. Can't do it to you. Love you,
Kevin, what are you doing in there? You've been in the bathroom for 45 minutes.
Yeah. No, I'm a stud. What are you gonna do?
You're a stud.
I am.
You know what you like.
Yeah.
You and your hand can go places.
It's true. I have a rotation. I'm like a 12-year-old Asian kid with the flu. Fucking staying home from school. Like 5-6 times a day.
Good to go.
Just blurka.
You could bang that out in the morning before you even get out of bed.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing my insanity.
How's that going?
It fell through a little bit.
When you went home, you didn't bring your DVDs? Or
I
you
did.
Did you do it?
I did like 3 days.
How long were you home?
5 days.
So you're not doing very good.
No, but I also ate fucking ribeyes and drinking booze like it's out of style. Like, my buddy and I last night had a, finished, well, it was only like a small guy, but like of Seagram's.
Seagram's gin?
No, it's whiskey.
I thought Seagram's made gin.
They might.
Do they make gin?
Yeah, they do. They're like a house. But yeah, we're just bullshitting, smoking cigars, and I drank like half a bottle of scotch. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
And then I had went over to my cousins today just to see them before.
You Goyim can really drink.
I guess so. I had 3 scotches on the plane.
On the plane?
Yeah, it was a 6-hour drive, and they didn't charge me. It's like $7.
Did you get a movie?
No, there was nothing good playing.
You have the TV on JetBlue, right?
Yeah. You know what I was watching? I'm such a schmuck. I got sucked into that show, Catfish. Have you seen it?
What an asshole.
I mean, I'm flipping around, but, I must have gone through their, 24 channels.
Didn't you watch the movie and you thought the movie was sucked?
Yeah. But these people, I mean, I don't know who's worse. The fuckers who fall for it or the people who are blatantly lying. They're like, yeah, like I'm a model. I fly to New York all the time. And they live with, like, in their mother's basement.
In Idaho.
Yeah. And they're all fat and like, dude, like, it kind of turns people off of online dating, I would think. But you'd have to be stupid not to to fall in love with someone you've never met. Like,
it does seem weird.
You're simple.
Like, you know what I mean? How about we meet? How about we have a video? It's 2013. You can video chat with anybody.
I've never had like an
internet relationship.
No, where you've never met
friends.
the girl.
I've had friends.
Sure.
But I never had like a girlfriend that I would say is my girlfriend.
Manti Te'o, man, blew it up for everybody.
Dude, he is just ruining it for everybody.
He's a big dummy. He's going to be starting for the Chargers, though, so that's good.
Doesn't mean he's not a dummy.
And so, how about this segue? Did you hear about Aaron Hernandez?
He's up for. They got warrants out for his arrest.
Did they arrest him?
I read this morning. I was at the gym this morning. That's right, back at the gym. Now that I'm jobless,
titties
on the unemployment tip, friends.
There you go.
That's right. Hanging out in my underwear, playing video games. That's what I do. You
earned it.
That's what I do now.
You earned it.
But I was at the gym this morning, and I noticed they said that they went back to the house to search again, but he might not be named as a suspect now.
He killed that motherfucker. Like, I have no evidence. I'm a Jets fan, too.
It's like the guy that, who's the guy that shot?
Jason Williams.
He's
fucking going like, Gary Cooper, like flicking around his finger, like a Winchester, and he shot his limo driver, like, in the face.
It happens.
It's not funny because the guy's
Accidents happen.
dead. Yeah, but he's going to get away with it, man. Fucking Aaron Hernandez has got to get away with it.
These guys can get away with it. When you have enough money and enough clout.
Well, there's a guy, OJ got away with it, and then he was so stupid that went and robbed the guy selling his merch or his antiques, whatever.
OJ is proof that you really are just that you could get away with murder and still be a complete idiot. Like I knew if I was OJ and got away with murder, you never would have seen me again.
He chopped off his wife's head, his pretty white wife's head. And her Jewish guy.
Oh,
Goldman.
Do you know he lived down the street from me when I was growing up?
Get out of here.
Goldman lived like 3 blocks away from where I grew up. He actually babysat kids in my neighborhood, and the Jew youth group that I was in, he was in the same chapter when he was a young kid.
Oh, so OJ for you is like, oh, he took away one.
I mean,
of
I didn't know him.
Right, well-
I didn't know the Goldman family, but I mean, he did grow up like right where I grew up.
Well, like the father, Fred Goldman, he has made like his job now is to fucking ruin OJ's life any chance he can.
And he should.
And he should. He killed his son.
He should, and he got away with murder. And
Yeah.
then, sure enough, now isn't OJ in jail? Isn't he in jail right now?
Yeah, he's got like 12 years or
Dude,
so.
he's so stupid.
He went and I guess they had all of his like collectible stuff, and he robbed him at gunpoint in Vegas in a hotel. OJ Simpson.
He's not exactly a man in his right mind.
Yeah.
I actually remember I was home. I wasn't too young, but I remember being home, and I was home alone. My parents had went out, and I was just hanging out at the house. I probably had no fucking friends to hang out with. I was a loser.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the whole OJ, like, when he was running.
Bronco chase?
I watched that whole thing, like, live, and it was, like, the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
So that was 94, so I was like 11, 12. Yeah, I was 11.
Yeah,
It was June.
I was, like...
Because it was the end of the school year.
How old are you?
I'll be 31.
I was born in
November.
81, so I was 13 years old.
November 86.
I was 13.
So I was 11. And I didn't give a shit. You know, all I cared about was my G.I. Joes, you know.
Oh, no, I distinctly remember watching OJ run, seeing this car chase on TV that just didn't in my mind, it never ended.
I knew something happened, like, that night, but I didn't pay attention. But then on the bus, on the way there, one of the older kids was like, holy shit, you hear about, like,
Was it 94?
it was 94,
That's
I think.
crazy because I remember being in high school when
Yeah.
it went on
They
for
read
that
the
long.
verdicts over the
They
loudspeaker.
read me too. I was in math class.
Yeah,
and
I
we
was in
got-
the library.
A couple times it happened in my lifetime. They stopped high school to the OJ trial. They played it over the PA, and I'll never forget it. I was in like 6th, 7th grade when they played Michael Jordan retiring.
Chicago.
And
I
they
guess
played
so.
that over the PA. It was homeroom, and they started playing that. There was fucking kids in the room crying.
Yeah, it's your
But
hero.
they played the newscast. They're like, hey, we don't. I remember coming on. The principal's like, we don't normally do this, but Michael Jordan apparently is going to make an announcement. So they put that on, and they stopped school.
Yeah, I remember being on the school bus, and I was like, yeah, Lawrence Taylor killed somebody. You know, because I was like, you know, they're all...
Close enough. He did crack. Same difference.
Yeah, but they're like, no, it was O.J. Simpson. I'm like, from Naked Gun? You know?
That's the only thing I knew him from.
Yeah.
At that age, I didn't know him
And
from...
the Hertz commercials when he's running through the airport. But yeah, I mean, this guy Aaron Hernandez, I guess he was hanging out with his boy, and then they're at a club and stuff, and then he disappears, like, and his body's found the next day, but he's the last person that saw him, and then he breaks his phone, his alarm system, and he has like a team of people coming to clean his house. That's some perp behavior right there.
Wow. I wonder what's going to go down.
Oh, but yeah, he's I'm a Jets fan, man. So I'm
So
down
fuck
with it.
him.
Fucking, I hope Tom Brady kills somebody. Fuck them all. And yes, and
Do you have some work lined up? What are you going to do now?
I do. I am. I'm taking tomorrow off.
Okay.
Just to settle back because I'm on New York Times, 3 hours difference. So really,
right
it's
now it's
2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. for you.
Yeah, I should be. I don't know, doing something not
Nothing.
productive. Yeah, or sleeping.
So what's
I'm
this
pretty
gig
sure.
you're on?
I believe it's the BET Awards.
Oh my God, shit show central.
So that's proof that I'm not racist.
Because you work on a BET show.
Absolutely.
But didn't a white person hire you?
Yeah, but he's like, you know, he's.
Are there a lot of? Have you been on those types of shows? Have you been on BET?
Never worked for BET before.
I have one bad experience. I'll never work from again.
I've heard some pretty bad shit about working for BET.
And that's not even being racist. That's just real.
It's the production company.
I years ago when I first started,
Maybe I shouldn't. Well, it's it's 3 days and I'm a production assistant. You know, it's like I could use the money. Or
yeah, you could
recoup.
You could call right now and say you're not working and do yourself a favor. Just call and say, hey guys, I really can't do this.
I got a reputation to uphold, and you never know who you're gonna meet. You gotta take every opportunity.
You're not gonna meet anyone at the BET Awards that's gonna help you get a job.
Why not?
Because they're all assholes.
Okay.
I'm just-
I don't know.
But I remember years ago, when I was still PAing and I just moved out here, I got hired from the BET Awards or a BET show, and they're like, okay, we need you to be in Culver City, and it's kind of an early start. You gotta be there at 4 a.m. But I was
4
like,
a.m.
4 a.m. And I was a young whippersnapper, really excited just to get on something.
Piss and vinegar, green.
And I get there 3:15, 45 minutes early, just to be there. So now 5 o'clock rolls around. I don't hear from anybody.
And
6 o'clock rolls around. I don't hear from anybody. Finally, I get someone on the phone in New York, and I'm like, my name's Jeremy. I was hired to be here. Oh, the shoot got moved until next weekend.
Oh.
Sorry, we didn't call you.
well, that's not my fault.
And I was like, well, I've been out here since 3:15, so someone's going to pay me for a half a day.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a half a day rate, but I never worked for that company again. Never went to work on a BET show again.
I mean, I got to call a guy who I worked with, guy who has worked, I've as a coordinator for me. When I was, a few times I've coordinated, he's come on as a PA and he's worked his balls off. So it's like, you got to...
You give and get.
Yeah, it's what this shit's all about. But I don't know what to expect. Hopefully I'm cool enough.
To do what? To work on the BET Awards?
Yeah. There's always shootings there, right?
I know it sounds... I was just going to say, you just hope you don't get shot or stabbed.
No, but for real, that's not even a joke.
No, this shit happened at the BET Awards and the Spirit Awards. Is that what it is? No, Spirit's independent. What's
the Image Awards.
The Image Awards. Yeah. There's always... I hate to say it, but there's always gunfire.
You can't... It's, I heard the roasting Paula Dean. They're gonna get fucking...
At the BET Awards, they're gonna roast Paula Dean.
Who was it? George Lawrence, or who's the dude who's whatever?
That bitch really screwed herself.
Yeah,
an entire food. She was an entire food empire.
She's an empire.
It's now over. She fired from Food Network. They won't pick up her contract after this year, and you guarantee you won't see her on the network again. And then she has a whole line of QVC shit. That shit's over.
What? I mean, look. Okay, what happened?
From what I understand...
Because, I mean, my mom doesn't have... I grew up on a farm, so we don't have internet or cable at the house.
You have internet and cable at your house.
I grew up on...
You didn't. You grew up in Briarcliff, a rich white neighborhood.
Yeah, Briarcliff. The farms of Briarcliff. Briarcliff Farms.
Anyways, from what I understand, back in the day, a few times, she used the N-word towards employees.
Oh, really?
But then she also wanted to set up a plantation-style wedding for her brother-in-law or something like that.
Oh, see, I didn't hear about all this.
Yeah, she wanted to help set up a plantation-style wedding.
But I mean, look.
Hey, okay, you're
is
not
that racist?
I don't know.
That's more of a Southern thing.
See, that's what she's claiming.
No, like a plantation wedding.
Hey, you've just defended her. You
and I didn't hear about any.
No.
What I heard was
that's her argument, Kevin.
I heard that there was like a deposition for something
where she admitted using the N-word
in like 1986 or something.
I don't know what year, but she admitted saying nigger to a few people, and then something about this plantation. But you just said exactly what her defense is, that it was where she was from. It was her background.
Was it filmed? Was anybody in?
I don't think so.
It's her personal life.
It doesn't mean that the Food Network's not going to keep you.
No. If she's working for Food Network and she's being racist, calling people.
I hear you, but you're not understanding. It's not that. You're right. You are right in saying that, but the Food Network is not going to deal with the bad publicity. It's the bad
publicity.
Publicity.
Yes.
They're not going to deal with that.
Enunciation.
They're going to fire the old bitch because they don't want to have the backlash of having the N-word lady on their network.
It makes sense.
But you're right in what you're saying, that she didn't do it on television, so why punish her? But
and no, even worse, they ruined
I think because
her.
in a deposition she admitted to saying it.
From what I heard, the only thing that I heard was that she was like robbed, or she was in like a robbery of some sort, and there was a black dude who had like a gun to her head. And
she called him the N-word?
She was asked in this deposition, like, have you ever used the N-word? And she's like, yes. They're like, what was the context? And she was like, I was telling my husband that some nigger had a gun to my head. And it's like, oh, Jesus. But, and it doesn't give, but look, I've said this many times. If you want to be a racist piece of shit, like, go for it. No one's going to stop you. But they will ruin you.
They will.
They will take...
And she's been ruined. No matter what, her career's over.
Yeah.
You won't see Paula Dean and her diabetes fat ass anymore.
But okay, and I get it. Like, they don't need her to be on the thing.
It's not.
She doesn't fucking cure cancer. She makes a pecan pie. Fried chicken.
You're not understanding.
Watermelon.
Which was a joke. Which was a black joke. But what I'm saying is to the Food Network, it's not worth having the nigger lady on their
Are you getting messaged during our...
I can't help that the computer makes noises.
And you're blowing up over there.
As long as you ignore it, it doesn't happen.
This is a visual
But you
medium.
can't have the N-word lady on your network. You just can't.
I guess so.
That's just all. That's the only thing they're coming from.
See, no, okay, like, I didn't know really the context, because I grew up on a farm, and I don't have cable or internet last
You
week.
didn't grow up on a farm. Why do you say stupid stuff like that? You didn't grow up on a farm. You grew up in a
farm.
You did not. Did you have cows and chickens and things?
Oh, candy corn.
What do you mean candy corn?
That's what we grew.
You grew candy corn?
Yeah.
Isn't it hard to do that?
Well, not after 80 years in your family.
You had candy corn in your family for
Candy
80
corn
years.
plants, yeah. The growing trees.
You're an asshole. You're a giant asshole.
Yeah, so I look, a part of me, and then apparently she did like these really like insincere apologies, like, and then she did another one to apologize for her fake, scripted first apology, but I didn't watch those videos because I get douche chills with stuff like that. I get very uncomfortable and very embarrassed if I see shit like that. Because she made not a billion. She made several $1 million for the last 5 or 6 years. But I guess, there's that.
We've talked about this on the podcast so many times. Like, and I know in your mind, you shouldn't get punished for this, and people should have a right to say what they want. But we live in a more sensitive, a hypersensitive society, and when you have a woman who's very famous,
Kramer.
Paula Deen went on every major network. She was on every
groveling.
No. I'm saying before all this came out,
Yeah.
she is a major presence in the food world. Mm-hmm. She's a major lady.
Yeah.
And now it comes out that you said the N-word, that she might have wanted to have a plantation wedding, and whether it's her upbringing or whatever, it's coming out that she might have some skeletons. It doesn't matter what people think. It's the perception of her now.
No, yeah.
She's nigger lady.
Her brand. Yeah, her brand is just like, oh.
You can't think about it now. Every
Yeah.
time you say Paula Deen, most people are going to think, oh, she's the N-word lady.
Mel Gibson.
Michael Richards. This is what happens.
Yep.
You can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, and I don't feel bad for her because that's like in the time that she's fallen from grace, quote unquote. Like, how many innocent people have been fucked over, have lost their job, have been killed, have died in accidents, lost family members.
Think about it on the level of not even famous. Go back a couple weeks ago to one of our podcasts, the Dunkin' Donuts lady who went into Dunkin' Donuts with her Facebook video going, swearing. She lost her job for calling them sand nigger. It's just, and she's not famous. Yeah. It doesn't change the fact a company's not going to have you represent them.
Right.
The Food Network is not going to have Paula Deen represent them anymore. That's how they feel.
But I'm working for the BET Awards this weekend.
As long as you don't use the N-word, I think you'll be okay.
Oh, I've never used that word, Jeremy.
I'm proud of you.
Yes.
I'm really proud of you.
The N-word, as I call it.
The N-word, as everyone calls it.
Yeah. Which, in the Louis C.K. bit, he's like, you know what word I hate? Like, I hate the N-word. He's like, not nigger, but the N-word. When some pretty girl on TV says the N-word, and that's just her way of getting away with saying nigger. And puts it in everybody's mind. It's like, oh, she means nigger. But yeah, look, it's a word. It's very offensive. It offends people, and you can lose your job, and you can lose your everything over it.
I mean,
But it's really, it's just a word, man. Like, who's the guy? The Trayvon Martin case, George Zimmerman. His trial started now.
And then something crazy happened with that. He told a knock-knock joke or something, and there was all kinds of... Something happened. I don't remember. I was working. It's my last few little bit of work, but the lawyer did something stupid and was making knock-knock jokes, and he tried to do
Did he slap him on the ass? Like T.O.?
Something like that happened.
That was Terrell Owens.
Oh, that was for Owens. Yeah. But something happened...
No, Chad Johnson.
Ocho Cinco, right?
Ocho Cinco. No, Chad Johnson.
Ocho Cinco.
Sure.
Anyway.
Fucking headbutt king of the world.
But yeah, so what were you going to say about Zimmerman?
So his trial's starting now, and that's a huge, racial tension. There's still racial tension in this country, man. There's no way around it. I think there's always going to be, and it's too bad, and this guy is claiming self-defense, against shooting this 17-year-old kid who was unarmed, he had a bag of Skittles on him. He was walking around a neighborhood, and this guy took it upon himself, as a neighborhood watch guy to...
With a fully loaded semi-automatic weapon.
Florida, man, it's legal.
Great. Now
he's on trial
and he's going to go to jail.
That's yet to be seen. I mean,
he's gonna go.
If it's self-defense,
it won't be self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, he shot.
They have all kinds of evidence that this is not self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, but
they have phone calls.
But it doesn't matter. You're still innocent until proven guilty. That's what
in my world. In my world,
cops is filmed on location with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
Mine would be everyone's guilty until proven innocent. That would be my world.
Not in my America, Jeremy.
Well, we'll just have to deal with it until I'm in charge. But when I'm in charge,
everyone's guilty.
Them's gonna
until
be
them's
gonna be the rules.
Oh, I have chest pains. Oh, all of a sudden.
Well, then we should probably end the podcast there.
Okay.
Kevin, I hope you don't die. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. It was a little Sopranos heavy, but it is our favorite show.
We love you, Jim.
We love you. He wasn't your fucking friend. Don't say Jim.
It was Jim.
You never met him. You don't know if he liked to go by Jim. It's James Gandolfini. You're so stupid. Thanks for listening to The Bad Takeout. www.badtakeout.com.
There's more than one W.
www.//
Knuckle cum.
We'll see you next time.
Let's go.